He wasn't born a monster, forged into one. Every scar, every silence, every betrayal. He wore it like armor, and when the world burned him, he didn't die. He became the fire.
I didn't wake up one morning and decide to become this. I was pushed, dragged by the throat through fire, ripped open, rebuilt with rusted nails and unspoken screams. This isn't a phase. This is not a costume I wear for attention. This is the final form of something that bled, burned, and survived. This is the birth of a monster. They wanted to see me suffer, and they did, but they didn't expect me to adapt. They didn't expect me to transform. They thought breaking me meant ending me, but all they did was dig the grave where the old me died and the new me clawed out. I remember the moment the last light went out inside. It was quiet, not some cinematic boom, just a breath. A silence so deep it cracked the ground inside my chest. I stood there, holding all the pieces of who I used to be, shattered, trembling, and no one reached out. No one cared. They watched, they smirked, they whispered, they waited for me to collapse. But I didn't collapse. I changed. There was no miracle, no salvation, just rage, raw and red, curling in my gut like coiled steel. The kind of fury that doesn't scream. It listens, it learns, it calculates. They thought I would fade quietly, but monsters don't fade. We linger, we evolve. I don't cry anymore. I consume. Every betrayal, fuel. Every lie, kindling. Every moment they looked at me and saw weakness, they were feeding something they couldn't see. Something primal, something permanent. I am not haunted by demons. I became one. But I didn't choose this out of pride. I chose this out of necessity. Mercy was a luxury they stole from me. Love was a currency they counterfeited. Kindness, they used it like a leash. I gave them everything real, and they fed me illusions. So I burned it all. Set fire to every lie I ever swallowed, just to keep their peace. They called it healing. I call it survival, with scars. I've learned to stop asking why they hurt me, why they lied, why they left when I was bleeding. The answers don't matter. What matters is what I became in the silence that followed. The creature that crawled from the ashes didn't need an explanation. It needed vengeance. Not the petty kind, the silent kind. The kind that doesn't scream at the gates. It owns the castle. I didn't become heartless. My heart was taken. And once it was gone, I stopped playing by the rules of the soft and the scared. I stopped begging for a seat at the table of the very people who used my hunger against me. I built my own table. Out of bone, out of rage, out of every damn "you'll never make it" they threw in my face. Now I feed on everything they said I couldn't be. I am the result of 1,000 ignored cries, 1,000 overlooked efforts. 1,000 times I walked into the storm with nothing but fists and fire and came out stronger. I am not the villain. I am the reflection of their cruelty, sharpened and sent back at them. They made me this. They carved this fury into my ribs. They whispered behind smiles, laughed while I bled, threw me to the wolves, and I came back leading the pack. They told me to calm down, to shrink, to be more manageable, to be less. But monsters do not shrink. We expand. We take up space. We devour the silence they tried to stuff us into. I've stopped asking for forgiveness. Forgiveness is a cage. and I've chewed through the bars. I've stopped pretending that I'm healing. Healing suggests a return to what I was. But there is no return. That version of me is buried, and I spit on the grave. I don't want to be that person again. That person begged. That person hoped. That person believed. I know better now. So when someone like you shows up, someone grounded, raw, real, they don't know what to do with it. So they run, or worse, they try to change you. But listen to me. Don't you dare shrink. Don't dim your light just to blend in with shadows. Don't betray your depth just to feel temporary company. Don't fake your smile just to make others comfortable. You were never meant to be part of the crowd. You were built to stand out. Because you stand for something. You've got a soul that refuses to sell out. A mind that questions. A heart that endures. You are rare, and rare things take time to be recognized. Rare things don't beg to be understood. They wait to be found by those who are worthy. The solitude you're feeling now, it's not punishment. It's preparation. It's the universe clearing the path. So when you find your people, the ones who speak your language, honor your energy, match your depth, there's no confusion, no faking, no settling. But here's what happens if you ignore this truth. You'll start editing yourself. You'll shrink to fit into places you've outgrown. You'll tolerate surface level just to escape loneliness. And that's when the slow erosion begins. Of self-respect, of peace, of authenticity. You become a version of you that's liked, but no longer real. Meanwhile, those who stayed solid, who endured the silence and stayed true, they rise, quietly, powerfully, because they've mastered the art of being alone without being lost. They've built resilience in the void. And when the right people come, they come correct. So if you're walking alone right now, keep walking. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't settle for less just to feel seen. Don't confuse loneliness with lack of value. You're not behind. You're not missing out. You're in the season of becoming. And the real ones, they always find their tribe. They just find them later. Because it takes time to align with people who live with the same truth. So take a breath, lift your head, and trust the timing of your own growth. You are not alone. You are on your way. And when the dust settles, it's the real ones who rise the highest. Not because they were loud, but because they were true.
He was what's left when a good man stops caring. They broke him, so he became the storm, not cruel, inevitable.
I stopped caring, not in a loud way, not with screams or broken glass. No, it happened quietly, like a candle burning itself out in a locked room, with no one around to notice the smoke. One day I woke up, and the weight that used to crush my chest was gone. Not because it got lighter, because I stopped trying to hold it. They say caring is a strength. I believed that once. I held the world like it was made of porcelain, careful not to drop anything, even when my own bones were breaking. I gave pieces of myself away like spare change, like I owed the world something just for breathing. But when you care too much, too long, the world doesn't thank you. It empties you, quietly, repeatedly. So I stopped. And this is what happens when you stop caring. Everything becomes clearer, like frost on a window suddenly melting, and you can see what's really behind the glass. The smiles, Lies, the apologies, performances, the ones who said I got you. Gone when the ground shook. They were never holding me. They were weighing me down. Anchors dressed as lifelines. I stopped calling back. Stopped waiting for texts that never came. Stopped explaining myself to people who never listened. They never wanted to understand me. They wanted to control me, keep me soft, keep me obedient, keep me quiet. But I'm not quiet anymore. I don't bleed for applause. I don't weep for closure. I don't beg for respect from people who couldn't spell loyalty if you carved it into their skin. They tried to shame me into staying broken, called me cold, heartless, numb, as if survival is something to be embarrassed about, as if my scars are ugly. No, they're sacred now. A roadmap of every time I was supposed to shatter, but didn't, because when I stopped caring, I started remembering. I remembered every night I sat alone, keeping myself alive, with nothing but grit and teeth-grinding silence. I remembered the betrayals, the manipulation, the way they looked at me like I was something to fix, until they realized I couldn't be, and then they left. Every single one of them. Abandonment dressed in excuses, disappearing acts wrapped in guilt trips. But you know what I finally understood? It wasn't personal. It was never about me. It was about what I refused to give them. My power. I see it now. They loved the version of me that bent, not the one that burned. They loved the yes in my mouth, not the storm in my eyes. They loved the healer, not the hellraiser. But I am both. I don't hide my rage anymore. I wear it like armor. I let it sharpen my words, guide my silence, fuel my steps. I walk differently now. Not softer, heavier. Like every footstep is a declaration. Like I dare the ground to tremble. I used to flinch at the idea of being called selfish. Now, I say it with pride. I choose me. I protect my peace like it's a dying flame in a blizzard. I protect my energy like a kingdom surrounded by snakes. And if you think that makes me cruel, you were never meant to sit at my table anyway. I stopped hoping they would change, that they would wake up one day and see the wreckage they left behind, that maybe, just maybe, they'd feel remorse. But people like that don't reflect. They deflect. They twist the narrative until they're the victim and you're the villain. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. I've made peace with being the villain in other people's stories. Let them talk. Let them say I'm cold, guarded, heartless. Let them call me paranoid, bitter, broken. I am. I own that. I wear it like armor. I'd rather be hated and safe than loved and destroyed. Love is a luxury I can't afford anymore. Not when the cost is everything I've got left. I trust no one. Not even myself, especially not myself, because I know what I'm capable of when I feel cornered. I know what darkness I can tap into when I'm pushed. There's a version of me that doesn't care, that doesn't flinch, that will burn bridges just to light the way. I've tried to outrun that version, but some nights I look in the mirror and see them grinning back. And maybe I need that side. Maybe that's the only version of me that can survive in a world like this. Some call it trauma. Some call it paranoia. I call it clarity. There's no peace for people like me. No finish line. No redemption arc. Just survival. Just another day with my back against the wall. Fists clenched, heart locked. I'm not waiting for rescue. I'm not begging for understanding. I'm not trying to be saved. I don't trust anyone with my story. Not because it's too heavy, but because they always try to rewrite it, to soften the sharp parts, to erase the ugly. I won't let them. My scars are mine. My pain is mine. My silence is mine. And if all I have left is me, then I'll guard myself like the last fire in a frozen world. I don't trust anyone, not even myself. And that's how I survive. The world will witness their fall. They will be nothing more than a cautionary tale, a story whispered in fear by those who once thought themselves above consequence. They will serve as a monument to what happens when you betray the wrong person, when you create something stronger than yourself, something that cannot be controlled, cannot be silenced. I am not who I was. I have shed that version of myself like dead skin. The person they once knew is gone. In their place stands something unyielding, something relentless, something carved from the very pain they inflicted. I am a force of reckoning, a storm they cannot escape. And when I come for them, there will be no warning, no mercy, no salvation. They will pay, not just for what they did, but for every moment they reveled in my suffering, for every time they turned away when I needed them most. They will pay for the way they left me broken, for the way they laughed at my pain, for the way they thought I would never rise again. But I did. And now, I am unstoppable. I will make them pay, and nothing in this world will stop me.
They laughed too long. They mocked too loud. They thought he'd stay small, stay quiet, stay broken. But something snapped. Not all at once, piece by piece. The fake smiles cracked. The silence curdled. The patience ran dry. Now he's moving different. No more playing their game. No more trying to fit in a box built to keep him down. He's not chasing approval. He's chasing blood. The old version of him, gone. What's left is sharper, colder, smarter. He's got nothing to lose and everything to prove.
I lost everyone. And in that silence, where voices used to be, where laughter once echoed, I found the truth. They were never really mine. I clawed through the wreckage of relationships I used to pray for. I searched the ruins, hands bloody, soul screaming, looking for something, anything worth saving. But there was nothing left. Just echoes, just ghosts, just shadows that never loved me the way I needed them to. I used to beg for someone to understand me, beg for someone to stay, beg for mercy. But I don't beg anymore. They said I was too much, too intense, too focused, too obsessed with becoming more than what I was handed. They watched me crumble and called it growth. They offered silence instead of help, distance instead of answers. So I adapted. I stopped reaching out. I stopped explaining myself to people who only listened to respond, never to understand. I stopped dressing my truth in pretty words, so I wouldn't scare them away. Because they left anyway, and I stayed, alone. But alone is where the fire started. Alone is where I felt the heat rise in my chest, where the lies peeled off my skin, where the masks melted, where the old me died, screaming, and something else stepped out of the flames. They say I changed. They're right. But this wasn't evolution. It was combustion. I burned the version of me that tried to fit in, the one who waited for approval. The one who carried dead weight just to feel less alone. Gone. Ashes. Dust in the wind. Now when I breathe purpose. They call me cold now. Good. Warmth never saved me. Warmth betrayed me. It was the ice that taught me to survive. It was the winter that forged the blade I now carry in my spine. It was the void that whispered, "You are not broken, you are becoming." I lost everyone. Every friend who couldn't handle my truth. Every family member who chose comfort over honesty. Every lover who saw my depth and drowned. And for a while, I thought that meant I lost everything. But then I opened my eyes. I saw what I really gained. Silence became sacred. Loneliness became a forge. Abandonment became freedom. Without their voices in my head, I heard my own. Without their hands holding me back, I reached higher. Without their fear chaining me to mediocrity, I stepped into greatness. They used to say, "You'll regret losing us." They were wrong. I didn't lose them. I shed them. Like dead skin, like chains, like lies whispered too long in the ears of someone who used to care too much. They were never mine to keep, and I was never meant to stay small enough for them to love me safely. I was meant to outgrow them, to terrify them with the sheer audacity of my survival, to make them look back and say, "We could have stood beside them, but we didn't." I used to wish they'd return, that they'd knock on my door, apologize and say, "We were wrong." But now, I pray they never come back, not because I hate them, but because I've built a kingdom in the space they abandoned. Brick by brick, tear by tear, scar by scar, every loss carved a path forward. Now I sit on a throne they never believed I could build. Not because I needed revenge, not because I needed them to see me win, but because I finally saw myself, unfiltered, unforgiving, unstoppable. I lost everyone and gained the parts of me I used to hide. The hunger, the rage, the ambition, the darkness. I stopped trying to be digestible. I stopped shaving off the sharp edges so I wouldn't cut anyone. Now I cut deep. Only truth. Only clarity. They say I became a monster. I say I became free because monsters aren't afraid of being alone. Monsters don't beg for love they don't receive. Monsters don't trade their fire for acceptance. I am not the victim. I am not the survivor. I am not the one who got through it. I am the one who rose from it. They turned their backs when I needed them. They laughed when I fell. They doubted when I stood. But now, they watch in silence. I used to search for love, for purpose. I chased light like a starving dog chases scraps. And what did it give me? Wounds, scars, silence. I reached for something sacred and got my hands burned. So I stopped reaching. I built walls instead. I built a throne from every piece of pain I was handed. And now I sit on it. Alone, yes, but unshaken. I don't need saving. I am the reckoning. They made the mistake of thinking my silence was weakness, that my stillness meant surrender, but I was calculating. I was collecting every blow, every slight, every betrayal. I carved them into memory, and now I carry that weight, not as a burden, but as a weapon. There's no more compassion left in me, no softness, just purpose, just fire. I don't ask why anymore. I don't plead with fate. I command my own narrative. I write it in blood and grit and bone. I rewrite the rules every time I walk into a room. I bend reality to fit the shape of my rage. This isn't vengeance. This is evolution. I've risen from places most don't come back from. I've tasted the bottom. I've slept in the cold of being forgotten. I've walked through storms that erased others completely. But I'm still here. And not just standing, I'm towering. Let them tremble. Let them doubt. Let them whisper. I smile at it all. Because none of it touches me. Not anymore. What I've become can't be undone. This isn't a phase. This is the final form. This is what happens when everything is taken, and I still refuse to die. I was chosen, not by people, not by chance, but by fire, by struggle, by the sheer will not to disappear. The mission was never comfort. It was never peace. It was to show the Creator what's possible. To be the proof that even in ruin, greatness can rise. That even when crushed, something stronger can emerge. I carry that responsibility now.
They watched, smirking, stacking their chips on your grave before you'd even hit the dirt. Every whisper was a knife, every glance a sneer. They didn't just doubt you, they wanted you broken. Every missed shot they counted. Every stumble, they cheered. You weren't supposed to rise. But the moment came. The blood in your mouth tasted like fire. Your lungs burned. Your fists shook. And you stood. No more silence. No more bowing. Now they stare. Quiet, pale, the same mouths that cursed you can't speak, the same hands that pointed now tremble. You don't just win, you erased out from the earth. Bet's over. I took it all.
They counted on your collapse. They built their comfort on your surrender. They wagered their peace on your silence. Every whisper in the shadows, every smirk behind your back was a prayer to see you break. They measured your worth in ashes before the fire was even lit. And you handed them hope when you laid down your sword. You think they haven't been watching? They have tracked every stumble. They have written your defeats like scripture, passing them from ear to ear as gospel truth. They have celebrated your hesitation as if it were the end of your story. They have placed bets, not with coins, but with their own souls, that you would not rise again. Some have invested years into the idea that you would never fulfill your calling, and they wait, grinning, for the final nail to seal the coffin they built for you. Do you understand what your failure feeds? It feeds the serpent that has stalked your bloodline for generations. It fattens the devils that laugh over your stalled destiny. It comforts your enemies, confirming the lies they told about you since the beginning. When you refuse to stand, you do their work for them. When you shrink, you kneel before the very forces that swore to bury you. Your apathy is their victory. Your surrender is their feast. You think this battle is just about you? It is about every soul bound to your obedience. It is about every prayer your ancestors bled into the ground. It is about every chain that still rattles in your family line, waiting for your hand to break it. The devil does not fear the weak. He fears the awakened. And right now, you are either asleep or you are rising. There is no middle ground. But you were not forged for their satisfaction. You were born in the mind of God, stamped with eternity, anointed for war. Your breath carries the weight of 1,000 prayers answered. Your name is written on the scroll of those chosen to burn down the works of darkness. Your steps were ordered before the earth's foundations were laid. Every drop of blood in your veins cries for victory. Every scar is proof that you were meant to survive this field, not rot in it. You are the answer to someone else's cry for deliverance. You are the threat they never wanted to see walking toward them. Look where you are now. Look at yourself. You've heard their whispers. Monster, they called you. Beast, savage, someone who doesn't belong among us. They point, they laugh, they judge you with eyes that wouldn't dare to meet your gaze if they truly knew your power. But have they ever stepped where you've stepped? Have they ever carried the weight you've carried? No, they haven't. They don't know the storms you've weathered, the fires you've walked through. They don't know what it took for you to stand here, even now, still breathing, still fighting. They don't know, but you do. You've heard them call you a monster. And maybe, just maybe, they're right. Because a monster isn't afraid of what people think. A monster doesn't bow down. A monster doesn't wait for permission. So prove them right. Show them what a monster can do. You were never meant to fit their mold. You were never meant to be one of them. You were never meant to follow the herd. You were made to lead, to carve your own way, even if it meant doing it alone. They fear what they can't control, and that's why they call you names. Monster, because you don't fit their mold, because you make them uncomfortable, because you don't apologize for being bigger, stronger, and hungrier than they'll ever be. Good. Let them call you a monster. Wear it like armor. Own it. Because when they call you a monster, what they're really saying is, we're scared of you. We can't stop you. You're too much for us. They will never understand your hunger. They don't understand your hunger. They don't understand what drives you, what keeps you awake at night, what pushes you forward when everyone else gives up. They don't know what it's like to look at a mountain and think, I'm going to tear it down with my bare hands. They don't know, and they never will. So stop trying to explain it to them. Stop wasting your breath convincing people who are too small-minded to see the fire inside you. That fire isn't for them. It's for you. It's what makes you dangerous. It's what makes you unstoppable. The world is afraid of monsters. Good. The world doesn't celebrate monsters. It fears them. Because monsters don't play by the rules. Monsters don't ask for permission. Monsters don't wait for someone to hand them the crown. They take it. So, let the world fear you. Let them talk. Let them point fingers. Let them call you every name in the book. None of it matters. Words don't stop monsters. Doubts don't stop monsters. Fear doesn't stop monsters. You're not here to be liked. You're not here to be accepted. You're here to conquer. Prove them right. Prove to them that you are everything they're afraid of and more. Show them what happens when you push someone too far, when you doubt someone too much, when you underestimate someone who was born to rise. Prove to them that the word monster isn't an insult, it's a warning. When they say, you're too ambitious, smile and show them how much more you can take. When they say, you're too aggressive, laugh and show them what happens when you unleash your full strength. When they say, you're too much, remind them that you weren't made to be small.
They pushed him down, over and over, told him he was weak, laughed when he bled, spat on his name. They thought breaking him would keep him small. They didn't see the fire growing in the cracks. Now it's too late. The leash snapped. The mask burned. Every scar they gave him is a weapon now. Every insult is steel in his bones. He's not here to forgive. He's here to tear the walls down, stone by stone, with his bare hands.
Look at you, counting on another miracle, waiting for one more break. You've burned through them, one by one. Every next time already spent. You think the clock won't run out. You think you're special. You think grace is endless for you. It's not. Even God shuts a door. Even mercy runs dry. You know the truth. You've wasted years. You've played small. You've hidden behind excuses. You've let fear decide. You've let comfort rot you. You've let the devil whisper, you've got time. You don't. Not anymore. This is the edge. There is no cushion. One more slip, and you fall. No one will catch you. Remember what's at stake. Your name, your promise, your soul. You said you'd fight. You said you'd bleed. You said you'd give everything. You haven't. Not even close. The mission hasn't changed. The cost hasn't dropped. The world still needs what only you can give. But you're running out of days to give it. You can't pause this. You can't bargain with time. You can't earn back what's gone. So move. Now before too late becomes the truth carved in your story. No more waiting. No more planning. No more next time. You either rise now, or you die as you are. Choose. So look at you, still pretending there's another chance waiting. Still telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow's gone. The last one's already spent. You've been given more chances than you deserved. You've thrown them away. For comfort. For fear. For nothing, you know this. You've wasted seasons, you've let your calling rot in the dark. You fed yourself lies so you could sleep at night. And all the while, the clock has been bleeding out. There is no safety net now. No spare life waiting in the wings. This is it. The next failure ends it. The next hesitation kills it. You were trusted with something holy. You treated it like it could wait. You were wrong. Time doesn't care about you. Destiny doesn't wait for you. God won't keep knocking forever. You stand here, staring at the edge. One step back is death. One step forward is war. Pick. You can't keep drifting. You can't keep hiding. You can't keep asking for another shot you haven't earned. This is the last one. The very last. Take it, or lose everything. Look at you. Still playing the game like there's no final round. Still acting like the world will wait. It won't. The clock's already spent the mercy you didn't deserve. You had chances, more than most. You wasted them on fear, on comfort, on nothing that mattered. You let the mission rot in the shadows. You silenced your own fire. You built a bed out of excuses. Now there's nothing left to bargain with. No reset button. No later. The next mistake buries you. The next pause kills it all. You were trusted with something sacred. You acted like it was optional. It wasn't. Time doesn't bend for you. Destiny doesn't hold your place in line. Even God moves on. You're at the edge. One way is oblivion. The other is blood and war. Decide. No more hiding. No more waiting. No more stolen grace. This is your last shot. take it or burn with regret. I smile. It's the last thing they'll see. I smile now, not because there's joy left in me, not because I've found peace. I smile because it's the only thing I have left that they can't predict. It unsettles them. It shakes the ground beneath their feet. They never expect a smile right before the storm. But that's what I've become, a storm dressed in calm. They thought I'd break, that I'd curl up in silence, that I'd become small, that I'd fade. I almost did. I almost drowned in the weight of everything they buried me under, but I didn't. I clawed my way out, bloodied and unrecognizable, and now I wear this smile like war paint, because I know how the story ends. I watched myself fall apart, piece by piece. Betrayal wasn't just a stab. It was a slow, grinding erosion, a decay of trust, a deliberate poisoning of hope. And I let it happen. I let the lies in. I gave them space inside me. I made excuses for pain and called it growth. I let the devil whisper lullabies, and I closed my eyes to sleep in comfort. But comfort is a coffin. When I woke up, I wasn't me anymore. The softness had been burned out of me. The heart, the compassion, the mercy, it all turned to ash. I became cold, sharp, something else entirely, and I didn't mourn the transformation. I welcomed it, because it was either become the monster or keep being the prey. I look in the mirror now, and I don't flinch. I stare into my own eyes, and I see something untouchable, something forged in fire. This isn't just survival. This is dominance. This is becoming the very thing that keeps the shadows up at night. They don't know what I am now. They don't recognize it, because I don't beg anymore. I don't ask for understanding. I don't wait to be chosen. I take, I own, I command. This smile, this cruel, haunting smile, it's not kindness, it's not warmth. It's the curve of a blade just before it cuts. It's the sun before it scorches the earth. I smile because I know what's coming. I know the reckoning I bring.
He doesn't run anymore. He hunts. He doesn't hide his teeth. He shows them. The world wanted a monster. It built one. And now the monster's free. Run. Years of being chained. Years of being dismissed. They thought he would stay broken. Now look at him. Not a man. Not a victim. A monster forged in war. Chains shattered. Fear consumed. He doesn't beg. He doesn't break. He devours doubt. He crushes resistance. Every step shakes the ground. Every breath burns with vengeance. The world will remember the day he rose.
Well, look at the mirror. Look at what stares back at you. You can't hide here. The mirror never lies. You see the truth you've tried to bury, the weight you carry, the years you wasted, the lies you fed yourself so you could sleep. You told yourself you were strong, but the mirror shows weakness. You told yourself you were disciplined, but the mirror shows compromise. You told yourself you were chosen, but the mirror shows a coward pretending. Every excuse, every delay, it's written on your face, it's in your eyes, it's in your posture. The mirror doesn't care about your story. It only shows what you are. And what are you? A man who betrayed himself. A woman who let destiny rot. A soul who had the chance and ran. Don't look away. Don't flinch. You made this. This is you. The shame, the failure, the rot. It's yours. Own it. But listen, the mirror also shows what's left. Breath, life, one last chance. The devil wants you blind. He wants you to turn away. He wants you numb. But the mirror won't let you lie anymore. God gave you this reflection, a warning, a gift, a chance to see what you are before the grave closes over you. So what will you do? Stay frozen? Stay broken? Stay the same? Or rise? Or fight? Or change? Command yourself. No one else is coming. No one else will drag you out. It's you, always you. The mirror is not your enemy. It's your judge. It's your witness. It's your call to arms. Every day you delay, it records. Every time you surrender, it remembers. Every sin you justify, it reflects. You can't wash it off with excuses. You can't cover it with clothes, money, or charm. You can't hide behind tomorrow. The mirror will show the truth again tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that, until you break, or you rise. So decide. Look into those eyes. You know what they've seen. You know what they've endured. You know what they're capable of. You've carried chains long enough. You've bent your knee long enough. You've played small long enough. The mission hasn't died. The fire hasn't gone out. It's buried under your fear. Dig it out. Stand up. Face the truth. Command your body. Command your soul. Command your destiny. You don't get to run anymore. You don't get to hide. You don't get to pretend. You face the mirror. You face yourself. You face God. And you decide, will you let this reflection define you? Or will you burn this version down and build the one you were meant to be? The mirror never lies, but it doesn't get the last word. You do. Now choose, rise, or die. The mirror never lies.
He has become a monster, and monsters don't bow. Monsters rule. Monsters win.
Look at the mirror. Look at what's staring back. No filters, no excuses, no mask. Just you. You thought you could lie to the world. You thought you could lie to yourself. But the mirror doesn't bend. It doesn't play along. It tells the truth you've been running from. You see it in your eyes. The weight of promises you broke. The time you wasted. The battles you never showed up for. You've told yourself you're strong, but the mirror shows weakness. You told yourself you're disciplined. The mirror shows hesitation. You told yourself you were chosen for more. The mirror shows you're still standing still. Every excuse carved into your face. Every delay written in your posture. Every compromise staring back at you. This is what you built. This is what you become. And the mirror doesn't care about your story. It only cares about reality. But here's the truth. You're not done yet. You're not finished. As long as breath fills your chest, there's a chance. God put you here for more, and you've been wasting it. The devil has been laughing at you, feeding you comfort, feeding you lies. But the mirror doesn't laugh. The mirror exposes. And now you're faced with one question. Are you going to keep living like this? Or are you finally going to rise? Stop pretending you have endless chances. You don't. Stop pretending tomorrow will save you. It won't. Stop pretending you can drift your way to destiny. You can't. The time is now. The fight is here. The mission is waiting. Look at yourself. Really look. Do you want to carry this reflection to the grave? Do you want this to be the last version of you the world remembers? Number you know better. You feel it burning under the surface. That rage, that hunger, that fire. It's time to tear the mask off. It's time to break the chains. It's time to become who you are meant to be. Command yourself. Stand up. Speak the truth. Move with purpose. Stop shrinking. Stop crawling. Stop dying while you're still alive. The mirror never lies, but it doesn't decide. You do. So choose. Burn this version down. Rise from the ashes. Face God. Face the devil. Face the mission. This is the moment. This is the line. This is the last warning. Look at the mirror. Look at what you've become and decide. Rise or die as you are.
Years of being chained. Years of being dismissed. They thought he would stay broken. Now look at him. Not a man. Not a victim. A monster forged in war. Chains shattered. Fear consumed.
Who was he really? Was he a man, or was he the monster people whisper about in fear?
He was never just a man. They tried to bury him, but instead they forged him. Every betrayal was fire. Every scar was steel. He did not run from the monsters. He crowned himself their king. Call him monster if you want, but remember this: monsters don't kneel, and he never did.
But why did he speak like that, as if he no longer carried a human heart?
Because they took it from him, piece by piece, lie by lie. They tore it out, and in its place, he built something harder, something unbreakable. He turned his grief into a sword, his rage into a shield. Where others begged for mercy, he became mercy's executioner. His words cut like thunder because they were not spoken. They were forged.
And what was his purpose? What did he fight for in the end?
He fought for truth, for the right to never bow again. He became the embodiment of consequence, the storm that no one could silence. His life was not a story of defeat, but of transformation. He was not the victim of the fire. He was the fire. Remember this, child. Your father was not the man they broke. He was the hell they created.
I am the hell you created. I was not born this way. I was made. Every scar etched into me was not an accident. It was a signature. Their signature, a testament to the cruelty of those who thought I would break. They called it discipline. They called it life. But I call it what it truly was: construction. They did not realize that every betrayal, every humiliation, every silent night where my chest caved under the weight of grief was not their victory. It was the forge, and I was the fire inside it. They thought they were burying me. They thought they were suffocating me under the dirt of shame, abandonment, and rejection. But they forgot one thing about burial. The same soil that smothers is the soil that grows. And while they laughed, while they mocked, while they walked away, I was growing. I was hardening. I was transforming. I am no accident. I am no mistake. I am the hell they created. There was a time I wanted to be gentle. A time I wanted to be soft enough to be loved, human enough to be understood. I begged the world for mercy. I asked for peace. But the world doesn't deal in mercy. And peace is a currency reserved for the chosen. For the rest of us, there is only war. So I shed my skin. I let go of that fragile dream. And in its place, something darker took root. Something sharper. Something that does not bend, does not bow, does not beg. I stopped asking for light and learned to see in the dark. I stopped reaching for open hands and learned to fight with closed fists. I stopped pretending I was human. I am not human anymore. I am the echo of their cruelty. I am the reflection of every blade they drove into my back. They call me a monster now. They whisper it as if it's an insult. They point their trembling fingers and shrink into their fragile morality, hoping the word will chain me. Monster. But I wear that word like armor. I sharpen it like steel, because I know the truth. Monsters are just the ones who survived. They never saw the nights I tore myself open just to feel alive. They never tasted the poison I drank from their lies. They never heard the screams I buried beneath polite smiles. The kind of screams that clawed at the inside of my ribs, like wild animals begging to be freed. They never lived in my silence, in my exile, in the cold void of being unseen. But I did. I carried it all. And in carrying it, I became something more than they could ever imagine. I don't walk in their heaven. I don't crawl in their hell. I built my own kingdom in the ashes of everything they destroyed. Every betrayal became a brick. Every insult became mortar. Every wound became a throne. And now, when they look at me, I see it in their eyes. The terror, the regret, the dawning realization that they are standing before the very consequence they created. They thought they could play God. They thought they could shape me and discard me like a failed experiment. But the experiment fought back. The creation looked at its makers and smiled. I am not their failure. I am their punishment. Look at you. Still playing the game like there's no final round. Still acting like the world will wait. It won't. The clock's already spent the mercy you didn't deserve. You had chances, more than most. You wasted them on fear, on comfort, on nothing that mattered. You let the mission rot in the shadows. You silenced your own fire. You built a bed out of excuses. Now there's nothing left to bargain with. No reset button. No later. The next mistake buries you. The next pause kills it all. You were trusted with something sacred. You acted like it was optional. It wasn't. Time doesn't bend for you. Destiny doesn't hold your place in line. Even God moves on. You're at the edge. One way is oblivion. The other is blood and war. Decide. No more hiding. No more waiting. No more stolen grace. This is your last shot. Take it, or burn with regret. They gave me pain. I gave them war. I wasn't born with fire in my veins. They poured it into me, drop by drop, scar by scar. Every lie was gasoline. Every betrayal was a spark, and I burned. At first, I tried to hide it, tried to be what they wanted. Software obedient, forgettable. I swallowed their poison and called it medicine. I stitched smiles over open wounds so no one would see me bleed. I let them shape me with their cruelty, thinking maybe one day they'd stop. They didn't. They broke the bones of who I was and laughed at the sound. They buried me in shadows and told me to be grateful for the darkness. But shadows are patient. They wait. They watch. They whisper. And one day, I listened. I stopped trying to heal in the way they approved.
They say fire consumes, but fire also purifies. I walked into the fire willingly. I let it burn away the weakness, the apologies, the old names they gave me. I let the flames kiss my scars until they glowed like armor. I became the fire, and now when they see me, they don't recognize the one they tried to bury, because that one is gone. I don't walk with the softness they were comfortable crushing. I don't speak with the voice they could silence. Every word now is a blade. Every breath is a warning. Every step is thunder. This is the art they never taught me. The art of dying to rise again. The art of shedding skins and burning cages. The art of walking through death and coming back untouchable.